Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to go over a very high level overview of how to backtest your own trading strategy in thinkorswim using the ThinkScript language. So you have thinkorswim open. You come over here to studies, edit studies, strategies. Now these are all strategies you can backtest that are uh, preloaded. They're built in, they're defaults. And if you just want to get an idea of what they're going to look like, you just click one, add it. Um, and generally what I like to do is if it has to do with like something involving MACD, then go ahead and click on studies and let's get the MACD on there. And then also you want to put on the position. Let me make sure. No, sorry, not position. You want the floating PL. And this will show you how much money you're making and losing with each entry exit in the strategy. Apply, you see all these things come on the chart. You can see this is when it opened, this is when it closed. And it's only trading the same amount each time, so it's not building the position as you progress in your trading. So initially it was negative, and over time this strategy, just trading 100 shares each time of whatever the underlying asset is. So we'll take a little bit of a deeper look at how to make your own fairly quickly. It's also a strategy that I like to use as well. So let's go back in here and let's remove the strategy. Let's remove the MACD. Let's just start over from the very beginning. So come into studies, edit study, strategy, create your own, and then this screen will pop up. And this is where you can use their ThinkScript language to type in your own strategy. There's a lot of documentation on their website for it, so I suggest take a look at it. If you're familiar with programming, it'll seem kind of normal to you. It may be a lot easier than reading language documentation for other languages, but if not, then just use the pre-built strategies to help you kind of figure out how to code these things out. So I'm going to do one that involves an EMA crossover, so the crossing over of the price over an exponential moving average. So I'm going to call it, first of all, I like to call them my, and then label it. That way when I go look in strategies, I can just type my, and it'll pull up all of my strategies that I built. So I'm going to call this my price cross up EMA buy long. So, and that's pretty much what the strategy is. It's when the price crosses above a certain exponential moving average, it buys to go long. So we have to do our input values. So the values that we're going to be taking from the data, and then well, no, not necessarily data. The inputs are just going to be the inputs that will show up on the screen, which I'll show you in a minute. So we do input price, and we'll set it equal to close. And you see how it auto-populates with some choices in here, which will help you. So you can do close, open, high, low, close for, whatever pops up in here that's relevant will work. I'm just going to do close. And if you're familiar with C or C++ and stuff like that, or JavaScript or any of those languages, don't forget your semicolons. Input, so I'm going to put my desired entry EMA. You don't have to do this part. This is a personal preference so that it can be changed on the fly without having to come back into the code. And then my desired exit EMA. And you can change these later on without coming back in here. So I'm going to define my entry EMA to be the moving average exponential, and I'm going to give it a length equal to the desired entry. And I'm going to define my exit EMA. Once again, moving average, exponential. Now you'll notice that these things look familiar. These are the studies. These, you can recognize these from things in the study. So if you're not sure what something's called in the language, chances are it's going to have the same name that shows up in the studies. So moving average exponential. And then once again, we're going to do length is equal to desired exit. And then I'm going to define by long, which will go into our actual order itself. And then I'm going to define sell long, so closing the position out. So buy long when the price is greater than the entry EMA, and sell long is equal to when the price is less than exit EMA. Then we have, so now we need two orders. So essentially what we're doing is these are kind of like, you're defining variables, and these are going to be some inputs into the variables. And then your actual function that's going to do all the work is going to be add order, order type, and this is going to be buy to open. And then we want the condition for this to be the variable we define. So it's basically a Boolean, if true. So we want buy long, and we want to, I'll go ahead, I give it a color, which you can do later on. So tick color is equal to color dot blue. I don't use green and red because it just blends in with the chart too much for me, so I use little colors that are a little bit different. Arrow color, the same color as the tick, so color dot blue. And then I give it a name, which I'll show you where you can define these things later on. And then again, don't forget your semicolon. And then we'll go ahead and do our closing order. Add order, order type, sell to close, sell long, tick color, color dot orange. Yeah. Arrow color equals color dot orange. Name will have close. And then never ever forget your semicolons. So this is going to be the strategy. So we are going to buy to open when the price is greater than the entry EMA. The entry EMA is going to be defined as the exponential moving average, where the length of that is going to be equal to the desired entry EMA, which we defined up here to be 20 units. Then we're going to sell based on when the price is less than the exit EMA, which is defined as the moving exponential average, where the length is equal to the desired exit EMA, which we defined initially to be 9. But you can change it later on, and I'll show you. And the input price, so we're going to use the close value. So you could put open, high, low, close here. Open, high, low, close. You can put open, but we'll just do close for right now. And then, so to change some of these parameters with the orders, if you click reference inspector, here you go. So it took me a while. You just got to click around until it pops up. And then right here is the open. You can add the stuff for the tick colors and the arrow colors here. Trade size specified by strategy settings. We'll go in that in a different video. Just showing you that you can change these things over here as well. You don't have to type them all in up front. So that's going to be our strategy. My price cross up EMA by long. Okay. We added this in, and then if I click apply, it'll throw a whole bunch of stuff up on the chart. Okay. Now we also want to see what the gains are or the losses. All right. So we want to go to studies, not strategies, and do floating profit loss, add, apply. There you go. So this is a strategy I like. Sorry about that, my microphone cut off. So this is a strategy I like, and I'll show you a couple things about this strategy in a second. So we hit and then before we hit OK, let's go over here to studies and let's add our exponential moving averages so we can verify. So moving average exponential. We have, so the 9's already here. I will make the 9, I'll make it, let's make it hot pink so it stands out. And then the other one is 20. So let's go ahead and change this to a different color. Let's do orange, make it 20. Okay, apply. So now we have those on here. I think that should be it for just verifying our strategy. Let's take a look. So right here, so this closed from this open, and it closed way down here. And then open, and then it ended up being a doji type candle, and it was below this 9, and then it closed itself, right? So here, open, because it was above the 20, and it barely was above the 9. Let me change these to regular candles. All right, so this looks a little better. Open, close below the 9. Open because it was above the 20, but it closed itself because it was still below the 9. And then it opened again here finally because it was above the 20, and it wasn't above, and it was also above the 9. So then from here, it rode out and closed out here on this, looks like a hammer, doji type hammer. Anyways, so that's how you can put these strategies into play to back test them and just see if your strategy works. And then you can also just change it on the fly to a different time frame, right? So previously we were on the day, the daily candles. Here is the 4-hour candles. You can change your time frame custom. And then, it's a lot of stuff on the chart, I know. So another thing you can do really quickly, if you want to actually get values for all these things and maybe export them and do, a little bit of your own analysis, maybe in Python and do some, some learning or some data science on them. You just right click it on the, you hover over it to highlights, right click, show report, and then this will give you a lot of information about the name of the strategy, the side of it, so you're either opening to go long or closing to close out the long, the amount of shares, the price you paid, time series, profit loss. So you may need to, yeah, depending on which kind of program you put this stuff into, you'll have to deal with the parentheses on the profit loss and the PL. Yeah, and then you can export this file, and it gives you, various places you can export it to, and however you want to export it to. So one quick thing that I'll point out is that let's look at a different chart real quick. Let's look at yep, GME is the big thing right now. We can look at it. Look at that, nothing for GME up until here, open, and then we can show that report. So who knows what day is this? 26th. So 26, 28. So 28, 25. So right here, buy to open. 25. The price was $78.39 a share, and then it finally sold it here. But of course, this is one of those things where strategies kind of go out the window when you've got stocks that are acting like this. So we'll look at something differently. But yeah, this is during that time, and we'll see what happens next week with that. But let's look at AMD real quick. Let's look at the daily, maybe 4 hours. So this is what I wanted to point out. You're backtesting a strategy, and the program is just doing exactly what you tell it to. It's not thinking for itself. It's not going, oh, hey, there's a pattern here, there's a pattern there. So if we remove this strategy real quick, you can see I have these, I pre-put these lines in here. So these are some support resistance lines. And you can see that this is, clearly hitting resistance, and it's possibly building up. You could put some, support lines, whatever you identify that works for you, right? So my point is that if your crossover is here, and you're hitting, you're about to hit one of these resistance lines, then your strategy in here may say, oh, buy. But in real life, you're going to say, oh, wait, we're getting close to a resistance. Let me hold off and see if we can get some momentum and break through. Wait for a pullback, then get in. So just kind of take these strategy calculations with a grain of salt. The other thing is, I generally use these with the open, high, low, close. So if you want to change it up if you want to change the code up, right here you can change the values for those inputs, right? So we can change close to open, high, low, close. I usually use this one. You can change the moving averages, stuff like that, without having to go back into the code to do it. So inputs in that code directly comes to right here. So let's add that, and then let's change this. I like to use Heiken. So another thing we can look at is if you take a look at NVIDIA, and if we remove this study for a second, I mean, look at this. this thing is getting ready to pop one way or the other, right? If you look at a longer chart, it's pretty much a bull flag, bull pennant, whatever you want to call it. So let's do so here you go. Bull pole, bull flag, bull pennant. Which way it goes, we'll wait and see. But I'm not gonna trade my strategy uh, in this window, especially as it's getting tighter, because as it works its way towards the point where the support and resistance lines connects, then the pattern becomes it's weaker, you know, because it's breaking out kind of at the last minute, so to speak. So I'll be watching this. I'll be looking for a break either way before I get in. But just so you can see, if I apply the strategy, it'll have you jumping in and out in here. And that's usually when you're going to lose money in any type of strategy when you do these algorithmic backtesting. So see, this is where you lose money, is when you go sideways. And personally, I like the 4-hour time frame. So here's another thing, the last thing I'll point out for this video, since it's running a little long. So one, you don't really want to trade in a channel on strategies. It's generally where you're going to lose your money because you're kind of just getting whipped in and out. But the main thing I'd like to point out is that most of the market gains, I saw a post somewhere that most of the market gains were happening after hours. So in pre and after hours market, pre-market trading and after hours trading. So I thought it would be interesting to turn off and on the after hours trading or extended hours trading on thinkorswim with the strategy back tested. So right now, equities, this has extended hours trading session, okay? And it's $18,818. So if we turn that off, let's see what happens. Drops by $1,000. So let's do it on a different time frame. Let's do time frame. So it's off right now, right? We turned it off. So extended hours trading is off, and if we turn it back on, so we're at $4,315.39 right now. Keep in mind it's only trading 100 shares each time. It's not building its size. So if you turn it on and see, it goes from 4,300 to well, that one didn't change. Maybe it happened in the after hours. Well, yeah, obviously, because the daily candles don't have an after hours. Duh. Okay. So 18,818. I think we already saw this one where it changed a little bit. So you're missing out on some gains by not trading in the after hours. Let's look at AMD. 4312. After hours, let's add it. So 4312. That kind of hurts us to trade in the after hours for that one. Let's look at Apple. Let's turn after hours off. 6,072 drops us a little bit. So just be careful, depending on when you're trading. After hours, it's less liquid, so you know you might not get filled where you want to get filled. But generally speaking, when I backtest stuff, I leave it on extended hours because you can pretty much trade extended hours for most of the big board stocks. on thinkorswim, and you shouldn't have any problems. So let's try let's look at see if this works for futures as well. I haven't back tested anything on futures, so I'm just checking it out. Yep, works there too. So I don't really know how to interpret this thing because I don't really mess with futures, but the strategies work on futures as well. So let's do let's go back to NVIDIA. So there you go. Let's just see what happens when we do it like this. Oh, yikes. Dang, it's not good. Like I said, I mainly do 4-hour intervals. I like the 4-hour intervals. And then turn on extended hours, and we go from negative. Didn't change at all. Oh wait, here we go. I thought I clicked on 4 hours. There we go. There we go. All right. Well, hope you bear with my rambling at the end. This is how you do some strategies. If you want this code, I am going to leave it in the description. That way you can just copy and paste it in there. But again, you can go in here and you can look at strategies, click on it, add it over, right click, edit properties. Sorry, not edit properties, view sources. And then you can see, how they Yeah, my mic cut out again. I'll have to get a new one. So basically what I'm saying is that you can go into here and you can see how they define theirs, see how they're doing their conditionals, how they're doing some if else statements, um, and kind of have a look at what the more complicated strategies are, as well as see just how to enter the different the code in different manners. So hope this video helped. If you want to see a different strategy coded up or anything like that, just let me know and I'll get it out there for you. All right, thank you.